The Phantom Patient. In an ancient hospital built over a century ago, there was a room on the third floor known among the staff as the Forgotten Room. No one knew why it was called that, but everyone avoided approaching it after dark. Legends told of a phantom patient who appeared in that room, issuing urgent pleas for help that penetrated the thick walls and reached the ears of doctors and nurses. The calls would begin with each new night, precisely at 3 a.m., as if it were a scheduled time for a ghostly appearance. One night, a young doctor and a trainee nurse decided to investigate. Armed with courage and a flashlight, they entered the room to find it completely empty, as it always was. But this time, they heard a faint sound coming from the attached bathroom. As they approached, they found the bathroom engulfed in darkness, but the sound of water dripping from the faucet was clear. Suddenly, the light went out, and they were plunged into pitch darkness, and the desperate cries turned into vague whispers echoing around them. The doctor and nurse felt a chill run through their bones, as if a cold hand had touched their shoulders. Without thinking, they rushed out of the room, and since that night, no one dared to enter the Forgotten Room again. The story became a tale passed among the hospital workers, and the Forgotten Room became a symbol of the secrets held by the old hospital's walls. And still, the phantom patient's calls can be heard on cold winter nights, a reminder that some souls find no rest even after death. The Midnight Surgeon. In the oldest wing of Mercy General Hospital, there was a legend among the staff about the Midnight Surgeon. It was said that on moonless nights, the ghost of a brilliant but troubled surgeon would return to the operating room where he had once saved countless lives. Dr. Thorne had been the head of surgery in the 1950s, a man both admired and feared for his unorthodox methods and cold demeanor. His career ended abruptly after a controversial operation that resulted in the death of a prominent politician. Overwhelmed by guilt and accusations, Dr. Thorne took his own life in the very operating room he had once commanded. Decades later, nurses and doctors reported strange occurrences in the old operating room. Instruments would move on their own, and the lights would flicker erratically. Some even claimed to hear the sounds of a phantom surgery taking place, scalpels clinking, monitors beeping, and most chillingly, Dr. Thorne's voice giving orders from beyond the grave. One night, a young nurse named Emily was assigned to close up the wing. As she made her rounds, she heard the unmistakable sound of the operating room in use. Curiosity overcame her fear, and she peered through the window in the door. To her horror, she saw the ghostly figure of Dr. Thorne, bent over a spectral patient, his hands moving with precision as he operated. She watched, frozen in terror, as the apparition looked up and locked eyes with her. In an instant, the room went dark, and when the lights flickered back on, the room was empty. No sign of the Midnight Surgeon or his patient. Emily never spoke of what she saw, but the legend of the Midnight Surgeon lived on, a haunting reminder of the thin line between life and death that doctors and nurses walk every day. The Abandoned Wing. In the dimly lit corridors of St. Elmo's Hospital, whispers of the past echoed through the walls. The staff often spoke in hushed tones about the old pediatric wing, now abandoned and sealed off from the rest of the building. It was said that the wing was haunted by the spirits of those who once occupied its rooms, their lives cut short by illness and tragedy. Nurse Anna, a skeptic by nature, paid no mind to such tales. She was a night shift veteran, accustomed to the eerie silence that fell upon the hospital after dark. But one fateful night, her disbelief was challenged in the most unsettling way. It began as a routine shift. The hospital was quiet, save for the occasional beep of a heart monitor or the distant sound of footsteps. Anna was making her rounds, checking on patients, when a sudden chill ran down her spine. The temperature in the hallway had dropped inexplicably, and a sense of unease settled over her. As she approached the sealed doors of the pediatric wing, she noticed something peculiar, a soft, flickering light emanating from beneath the door. Impossible, she thought. There was no power running to that part of the hospital. Curiosity piqued. Anna pressed her ear against the cold metal door and listened. To her astonishment, she heard the faint sound of a child's laughter. Shaken, Anna quickly retreated to the nurse's station, her heart pounding in her chest. She tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination, a trick of the mind brought on by fatigue. But the night had more in store for her. Hours later, as Anna sat at her desk, she caught a glimpse of a small figure darting past the station. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, with pigtails and a faded dress, clutching a teddy bear. Anna's breath caught in her throat. She knew that no children were admitted to the hospital that night. She followed the apparition, her footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. The little girl led her to the very doors of the pediatric wing, then vanished into thin air. Anna stood there, frozen, as the laughter returned, this time accompanied by the sound of many children playing. The next day, Anna shared her experience with her colleagues. To her surprise, they nodded knowingly. "You've seen the children of St. Elmo's," they said. "They're harmless, but they remind us of the lives once lived within these walls." From that night on, Anna was no longer a skeptic. She knew that St. Elmo's Hospital held secrets beyond the realm of the living, and she treated the whispers of the past with newfound respect.